Welcome back. Let's talk about, it's a derelict prison. It's called Northeye. It's just inland from the lovely Sussex coastal town of Bexhill. Now, some time ago, a couple of years ago, the government bought this place for £15 million. And they bought it from the buyers who'd bought it a year earlier for half the amount. So the government doubled that. So it was bought in 2023 for 2022 for around about £7.5 million. The government paid £15 million in 2023. So they're going to develop it, turn it into a big accommodation centre for migrants. And now they've axed the whole plan. So my next guest will be feeling very triumphant because he's waged the campaign on the behalf of local residents, you know, not to have this vast asylum seeker centre foisted upon their community, and he's won. And for that, I congratulate him. But it does, you know, it poses questions, doesn't it? It demands the question, you know, what are you doing? You buy a prison, a derelict prison for £15 million. Just about a year later, you just abandon it. That's our money you're wasting. Anyway, we're having a bit of technical trouble, so he's a very handsome guy, but we won't be able to see him. We will... oh, hang on. I believe we can see him. Excellent. Jeff Newman, campaigner to save Northeye. Hi, Jeff.
Hello there. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Right. So we're making it work here. Good to see you. Congratulations. Amazing campaign. You and I spoke many times over the last couple of years. But tell us about the government in all of this. It seems extremely incoherent of them to buy this site for a knocked-up price of £15 million in 2023. Now, not much more than a year later, or a year and a half later, they're abandoning the whole thing. As I say, congratulations to you, but this is pretty cavalier with taxpayers' money, isn't it?
It is rather. And in fact, where they've arrived to, yes, the Public Accounts Committee hearing, you could have got that same information a couple of years ago at any of the local pubs down here. You know, we all knew it was the most ridiculous thing possible. They were trying to do this under a queue notice that would only last for a year anyway, as an emergency planning. There's no way the site could have got ready in a year, so they went in and changed the law, which said that if they own it, they can do what they want with it. You know, they just have a time. The site just needs levelling. You know, it's got asbestos problem. We all know that. We knew that, you know, when they first started talking about this, and we warned the government about it, and they just ignored us. The committee meeting yesterday, the chap, you know, who's been interviewed, you know, he said, well, lessons have been learned, and they said that they learned over 1,000 lessons in this process. well, guess what? There's another lesson to be learned here, and that is the way that they interview and take on new staff, because obviously they don't have the people that can actually handle this. Yeah. So that's 1,001 lessons to be learned. Get your interviewing system sorted out and get the right people in.
Well, tell us, I mean, remind me, Jeff, how many migrants did they want to put in this place?
There was 400, which would be last another 400, and then another 400 in the year. So in total, 1,200 18 to 30-year-old males interned and detained, which then changed because we kicked up a bit of a fuss. They said, oh, it's okay. It'll be in other way around. It wasn't to be an accommodation centre where they could move around, and then they changed it to a detained centre, and they said it's all okay. But the thing is that they put in place some planning, which meant they could change their mind at any time. So that was cold comfort to everybody. And now here we are, them saying, actually, we've made the most almighty audits of this. We're going to back out and tote it around other departments to see if they want it. And if not, then we'll put it out to the community, which I think is a fantastic idea, because we've got a community here that would like to do other things with it. And I'm in communications with people now.
Exactly what is the reason they've given all of a sudden? I mean, because you've been putting up objections left, right and centre ever since you started your campaign, which would be, what, 2 years ago, 18 months ago?
Yeah, it's 590 days.
OK, well, there you go. I mean, one of your objections was, you know, I think there's a village very close by, isn't there, that would have been blighted by this entire place. It's a sort of beauty spot as well. So
East Sussex, the whole of East Sussex is beautiful, Kevin.
Well, of course. Well, that's half of your objection. What have the government said suddenly to say, well, we're not going to do this anymore? What's their reason?
And their reason, really, is they've been caught out. You know, that none of these projects, Scampton, Withersfield, Bibi Barge and this, and none of these actually stood up to scrutiny. They were rushed, corners were cut, and I think that at the time the government were trying to put this through, they were simply, they just wanted to be seen to be doing something. Mm-hmm. And they looked to be doing something without cash. You know, such as their panic mode. And that's why none of these have actually stood up to the scrutiny that they've come under from the National Audit Office and the Public Accounts Committee.
Yeah, as I say, I'm thrilled for you because you put your heart and soul into this. And I'm thrilled for the local community.
Yes,
but you know, even you, Jeff, could join with people like me to say, hang on a second. So, you know, in 2023... you paid twice over the odds for this derelict prison. The government, this is £15 million. Here we are, not much more than a year and a half on, and you've just abandoned the whole thing. So you've just chucked 15 million quid down the drain for what sounds to me like a kind of performative exercise, just to show the people they were doing something. Yeah.
And what's cool is, you know what? That could be 50,000 pensions warm this winter.
It's a really good point. Well, listen, Jeff, once again, congratulations. It's been great to talk to you throughout. I'm going to get you on again and we'll see if we can get a better line. But good to talk to you. That's Jeff Newman, a successful campaigner to save the Northeye. And what he meant by that, save the Northeye prison from becoming a massive migrant centre, a detention centre. I think at one point it was just going to be an accommodation centre. But that's what they did, just to say they were doing something. They took £15 million of our money. They bought a pile of bricks, which is full of asbestos. So it would have cost a fortune to renovate anyway. And then a year and a half later, they just said, we're not going to bother. So there goes another 15 million quid on the migrant crisis into the abyss, the money pit of the migrant crisis. That is the migrant crisis that in asylum seeker cases alone is costing you and me £5.4 billion every year, as in 8.2 or 3 million pounds every night for all these hotel accommodation places. You know, huge amounts of money. And along the way, as Jeff just said, let's set up the Bibi Stockholm, by the way, the barge in Dorset, in Portland in Dorset, that at one point had about 300 migrants on it. It's been decommissioned now, of course, by Labour, because it was a Tory initiative. That was costing something like £20,000 a day. Just to be there, mooring and electricity and water and staff. £20,000 every day. That's gone now. But, you know, new expenses replace it. The money, taxpayers' money that is going straight down the drain on this escalating chaos of our migrant crisis is just, it's a scandal. It's a scandal. 15 million quid on a pile of bricks they never touched. And now they've abandoned it. They're going to, we're going to sell it again. You're not going to get 15 million, are you?